MHU on three. 1, 2, 3.
MHU.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Lions Coaches Show. I'm Stuart Jolly along with Mount Lion head football coach Tim Clifton. Great week last week at Mars Hill, busy toward the end of the week with all the homecoming festivities, and top it all off with a South Conference victory against Limestone. That's a pretty good way to end the week, Coach.
Yeah, it was a great week, and the preparation was good all week. I thought we did a good job of preparing, and just to see all the former players and the alums, and they were coming through here on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and but it was an exciting day. There were a lot of people back, and I thought it was a great game for the fans. I wish we'd put them out a little earlier when we had an opportunity, but I thought our players just kept fighting and just kept clawing, and we just kept working until we got to a point where we pulled it off at the end.
Well, and from a viewer standpoint, sitting in the stands watching, or they're watching on the live stream, it was just a fantastic game because it was back and forth, and literally we thought, hey, it's going to come down who's got the ball last, and certainly a different outcome from Mars Hill this week when we had that UNC Pembroke. Thought you guys did a great job of controlling the tempo of things.
Yeah, I thought in the fourth quarter is what I thought. First quarter and the fourth quarter, I thought we really did some things that gave us the opportunity to maybe put it away, and we fumbled on the goal line. If we get that one in, it's 28-7. 21-7 is a tough thing because all it takes is one score, and that's 21-14. But if you get out 28-7, then you really put some separation there. And but I thought in the fourth quarter we were able to run the football to keep moving the clock, and then I thought our defense responded with several turnovers and made some picks that gave us an opportunity to sort of seal it. But I thought we did a great job on our special teams too, except for the one time where we roughed a punter, and then the other time where we had one wide open and threw it to him and we dropped it. But other than that, I thought our special teams was really, I thought we did a real good job. We had a punt return that was called back, but I thought we performed in that area also really well.
Well, and it's also one of those games, I was thinking back some of the games we've had this season. This one, my memory is the first one we've had to deal with rain. I mean, it's been awfully hot up at VMI, and then not too bad, truthfully, down at Newberry, which was unusual. But when you don't have to practice any, I'm sure from a player and coach's standpoint, it has to change some dynamics.
Well, it changes if it rains really hard because of trying to hold on to the football. And now, you know, we played Illinois Ryan in those lightning delays, but we really didn't.
No.
Nobody really got wet. It was just lightning delays. And but what it does is it just changes your throwing game a little bit if it's raining really hard. We were fortunate that it rained there for a period of time and then stopped, and then gave us the opportunity in the fourth quarter. It dried up just a little bit, but you just try to figure out how you gonna hold on to the football, and we fumbled it several times, and when it's a little wet, you got to put it away and keep it away. We gave up 3 fumbles. I think if we had controlled those 3 fumbles, I think it would have been a little bit different in the fourth quarter for us. But
Hard running. Let's pause there, and we'll kind of make an asterisk. We'll come back and talk about that. Razua scores. Point after is good. We're up 14-7. Then, as you said, really had some opportunities to turn it on. Prince Cowart, 10-yard pass from Razua. We're up 21-7. Really had an opportunity to go up 28-7 at that point, but it just didn't work out. But we're up 21-7 at halftime. Coming in the second half, it's 21-14. Limestone scores quickly on an 18-yard pass play. They wrap things up in the third quarter from their scoring standpoint, making it a 21-21 ball game. Razua then connects right as the third quarter concludes and makes 28-21 Mars Hill. And then, it just kind of goes back and forth. Limestone scores one more time, and then we're able to put it away late in the fourth quarter, about 3.5 minutes to go. Rucker gets a pass from Razua, punches it in. We're talking about the little asterisk next to Jimmy Razua. We haven't mentioned his name the last few games. He's been hurt. Back with us from let's flip it around a little bit. If you're Limestone and you're playing this team that's had a different QB for the last couple of ball games, and you've been in that role as a coach, how frustrating? How do you prepare for that?
Well, I just think each offense has got what they want to do. I mean, they have a plan that they put into effect every week, and I think the difference with what we do with Colin and what we do with Jimmy is maybe a little bit different, because Colin is going to pull it down and run with it when the opportunity gets there. Jimmy's going to stay in the pocket just a little bit longer. I think they both have their positives, but as a coach, you're always looking to see who the quarterback is. It doesn't matter. Just like we were getting ready in pregame, I was watching their quarterbacks to see which one was going to play, because they have played several quarterbacks.
And we talked about that last week, and they've both been fairly efficient.
And one of them runs better than the other one. The other one throws, and I think what you'd like to have is a combination of both of them all the time. But we knew what they were going to run. They know what we basically going to run, and I think maybe if you call in the game, you call it a little different. You might spy Colin a little bit or something, or go put pressures if you'll run, those kind of things. But our offense stays about the same.
Yeah, so it's not really going to be a huge look difference.
No.
Maybe a few changes in techniques and ways.
And I think you're going to see, Colin probably he's going to scramble more. So I'm sure they were probably looking to see who's going to start the game too. And I think you just try to figure out, all right, this guy does this better, so now we just need to change gears. Whatever blitzes we have, we want to be able to blitz for somebody that might come out of the pocket.
I always wonder that, because oftentimes, particularly with us, over various seasons, it has been a game time decision because of injuries and such. And I'm always wondering, okay, if you're the opposing defensive coordinator, you're sitting there going, okay, big difference or not big difference. Sounds like kind of some differences, but teams have their tendencies. They're almost always going to do this. The puzzle piece may change a little bit, but you're still going to have the same basic looks.
Yeah, and I think sometimes you have an injury and a guy comes in and plays quarterback, and he's a little bit different, and he gives a spark. What you hate to do is look out there and somebody else is playing, and all of a sudden they give them an unbelievable spark. We've had games here where we played and hurt the first team quarterback, the second team quarterback comes in and just plays unbelievable. So but you got to almost stay within the framework unless they're just completely different.
Makes sense. You and I always look at and talk about the importance of third down efficiency. We were 7 of 15, 47%, and a testimony to our defensive efforts. Limestone was 3 of 14, 21%. So that really determines a lot of, that they were in some really tough situations courtesy of the Mars Hill defense.
Yeah, like I told the guys yesterday, anytime you can make them be at 21%, you got a chance on third down. And I thought we played extremely well on third downs, and I thought offensively we did some good things on third down. The last drive we had some really awesome third down plays. Rucker made a really phenomenal run on a third down and long, and Jet came out on a run two critical plays in the game to get us where we had a chance, one to score and one to put the game away.
And I think based upon the last 2 or 3 ball games, really Craig had just one of his better games of the last, probably 1 out of the last 3. Is that a difference of how the opposition is keying their defense? Because I know Craig, you get in the ball, he's going to go, and it's like tail lights all the way through.
Yeah.
So is that a matter of a team choosing, kind of, I guess, a defensive philosophy that they're choosing to, they're going to key in on Rucker and say, if you're going to beat us, you're not going to beat us again, you're going to beat us everybody else.
Yeah, I think everybody we've played so far has had that.
They really have.
I think there's been a different plan each week of how you're going to split the field. And Saturday, they had a plan and then to really try to keep them from getting the football. And so you invent different ways for them to get it.
The plan didn't work real well.
No, and then you got Ferguson who's coming across there and they're clearing everything out. You get the ball to Ferguson and he can run it. I thought they were really playing Harbison and Rucker different than they were playing Coward and Ferguson. And I told them at halftime, y'all won't get more catches. It's going to come open because everything is to stop in the passing game, stop Rucker and Harbison. And then Newberry had a plan, and everybody we played had a plan of how they were going to, if they leave it alone, if they just play their scheme, he usually is going to make them pay for it.
And like you were saying, you look at rushing, Elijah Jett, 157 yards. Rucker had a great game there, and on receptions particularly did well. You got a mix. You look at these guys. I mean, here's Craig with 81 yards receiving, Ferguson 102, Rollis Frazier getting in, able to rush some. We really hadn't heard from him the last couple of games. He's kind of back in the mix. So, up in the box calling the game, I'm like, okay, if I'm across the way, I'm thinking, okay, they're going to throw Rollis Frazier at us, then they're going to go Rucker, then they got this Elijah Jett guy, they've got him coming in, and then they got, oh my, there's Tyler Ferguson, he's having a marquee game. Your guys really came on really strong.
Yeah, I thought, especially late in the game, we were able to run the football, and that was our goal coming out at halftime, was to run the football more, try to control the clock. But Jimmy was able to spread the ball around a little bit and get the ball to different people. And if you can spread that ball around and keep them guessing, then the things you really want to do come open extremely well. And the one thing we want to do in the fourth was to be able to run the football. And because we've been able to throw the ball and find some people open, and then you challenge your offensive line to block so you can run the football, because once you start running it, now you can control the clock.
And indeed you did, because those folks that stayed with us through the rain showers, they saw a great conclusion of homecoming. I mean, that's a classic homecoming game.
Yeah,
it really was.
I thought our former players, they lined the whole back of the end zones toward this building, and they were there. I didn't really see them. I saw them before the game coming in, but when we scored the last touchdown, when we hit the slant to Rucker, it was hard not to see them all because they all ran almost into the end zones. Yeah. So it was good to see all our former players back. And it's always good to see them and to see them come back with their families and be excited about coming back to Marshall. And I thought there were a lot of people here, and I thought it was a great crowd, and I thought the parking lots were full, and people were tailgating and having a great time, and it was a perfect situation.
Well, and you mentioned all these players. We were talking about it off camera. Had some of the former coaches back. Bill Mitchell, longtime coach here, under head coach Claude Gibson. And I'm walking in the stadium. I'm like, there's only one man going to be wearing a Stetson in this stadium. Sure enough,
and with it raining.
And with it raining.
Yeah.
So Hoot was back, and you talk. We've talked so much about family, and you look at how those guys over the years have, they've kept up with each other, same as your players do. I mean, and that's something that just doesn't doesn't happen in a vacuum. This is, as you and I've said so many times, it's a special place.
It is a special place, and football will do that to you. It'll make you draw closer and make you become a family. And just to see some of those guys that played since we've been here was awesome, and to see Coach Gibson and Coach Mitchell and them with guys that played in the 70s and early 80s, and you know, it was a special day. This building was full of former players coming through it and seeing them and visiting with them, and it was you know, you just look at it and go, man, this place made a difference in their lives, and they'll tell you to a man that this place made a difference in their lives, and their teammates made a difference in their lives.
And continue to. I mean, that's the thing.
And that's what
ongoing.
football does for you. It makes you a family, you know. I don't mean you don't disagree, because you do, families disagree, but it just molds you into something as far as learning how to help other people be successful.
35-28 in regulation. Mountain Lions win against Limestone. When we come back, we're going to have our player features. We've got some gentlemen right off the camera here, and they're chomping at the bit to go. So we'll come back and talk with them right after this.
I just did not have a lot of stability.
I was facing foreclosure.
Not working at all, didn't have any money.
I could not go to school and work, so I found Mars Hill.
The experience here has been so wonderful.
It's been amazing.
I was able to have the full-time hours without the full-time load.
They are just incredibly supportive.
And Mars Hill is very affordable.
Mars Hill University Adult and Graduate Studies, education that moves mountains.
I will be the first in my family to graduate with my bachelor's degree.
Hi everybody, welcome back to our player feature. This is, for me, it's the real fun time that we get to share some family with you, kind of outside of their helmets are off, their numbers are off, they're still in their Mars Hill logoed vest, but our blessing is every day we get to be around these guys, and it's just always fun to share them with you and go from there. So we'll start over here. Earl Adams. Tell us about Earl Adams. Where you from? Classification, Mars Hill, position you play.
I'm from Clayton, North Carolina, right outside of Raleigh. It's a small town. And I came to Mars Hill. I'm a coaching major, and I play defensive line, defensive end.
Okay. And then we have Mr. Travis James. Travis?
From Gastonia, North Carolina, which is about 15 minutes outside of Charlotte. I'm a business major here. I want to do something in marketing when I get out, and play left tackle.
Very good. So we try to keep this offensive defense mix going at various times. And Earl, if I remember correctly, why is it when I'm thinking about you, barbecue comes to mind? Why is that? Is there a story behind that?
Yeah, my dad cooks. He loves to cook. He comes out here and cooks for the boys.
Yes, he does, ladies and gentlemen.
About every weekend, every time he gets a chance to cook, he cooks. So he just loves to cook for the guys.
Yeah, he's really become part of, it's not a home game unless he's here doing that. So you graduate, we're going to have to get him to still come up ever so often and take on that. You're from Gaston County. Who'd you play for in Gaston County?
Forest View.
Okay, Forest View High School. Tell us your story. How do you end up from Forest View High School in Gaston County, a little bit outside of Charlotte, basically what that translates into, and we were talking last week about those folks just kind of sitting on I-4 going nowhere. Gaston County is famous for I-85, and you just kind of sit and wave at everybody because there's a lot of traffic as you and I know. How do you end up from there to Mars Hill?
Well, actually, I got something in the mail, I remember, my senior year, and I come up here for a visit, and I decided that I was going to ask Coach to see if I could walk on. They gave me the opportunity to come walk on. I got redshirted, and then I just worked really hard in the weight room and stuff, and got a chance to play the next year. So
very good. All right. Earl, we've shared your story before, but we got some new folks on the other side of our camera that'll be tuned in and everything. So Clayton, North Carolina to Mars Hill, North Carolina. You go from super flatland, Piedmont, North Carolina, to where you have 2 seasons. It's either hot or it's not. To Mars Hill, that you get 4 seasons sometime in the same week. Yeah, we've had some of that. But how do you end up here at the Hill?
My dad works with alumni from Mars Hill, and he just figured I was looking for a college to go to, and he knew Coach Barnett, and he just gave Coach Barnett my contact to him, and he told me to come on and visit, and that's how I got up here, and we just went from there. It's a blessing to be up here.
Now, I know both of you played in North Carolina. In terms of size of your high schools, Corinth holders, is that right? If I remember correctly? How big is that?
It's a 3A.
3A. So 800 to about 1,500, somewhere in there? Okay. And what about Forest Hill?
3A as well.
3A. Okay. Did you guys ever?
No, we never played with
Okay.
each other.
Because I know that would have to be like, the way the state does a little pod. When you guys came through, they were doing those pod systems in terms of playoffs.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Coming into the college level things, what was for you all? This is kind of one of these questions. It's really, really interesting to see how this goes with folks, because everybody's story is so unique to them and their background coming in. What was the biggest change coming from playing high school football? Obviously being pretty darn good, because now you play in college football. But what's the big change in there?
Definitely think like speed.
Okay.
It's like a big change. I mean, the game's just so much faster, and when you're like a freshman having to play, that's one big thing you have to adjust to, and it's really hard to see like true freshmen come in and play because the speed's so much different, and they're just not used to it yet. Definitely strength's another one. Everyone's bigger, faster, stronger here. So those 2 things always popped out to me when I first started playing.
So he mentioned speed and strength. What else? If you were, you're sitting here and you're looking into the camera and saying, "Okay, guy, you're thinking about coming and playing college football. Here's some differences. We've named 2. What else is different there?"
I think using technique is really a big deal when you get to college, because you're not much in high school. You're bigger than everybody else, and you can just bully them around. But when you get to college, most of the guys are the same size, and like you said, stronger and faster. So you really got to learn how to use your technique to get around stuff.
Is this level of football, and I know you guys probably, when you get a chance, we all sit back and get the remote control out and flip on D1 football. A lot of folks, that's kind of their gold standard. But those of you that play D2, those of us that have made a lifetime of enjoying D2 football, what do you think? Ever been as good as D1?
I'm pretty sure it is. I mean, I never got experience with D1, but they say football is football at the end of the day, and you just gotta have fun while you're playing, as long as you have fun.
Well, based upon some of the numbers I see here on tackles and such per game, I think you having fun and stuff. Now, the folks on the receiving end of that may not. They may appreciate if you back off your fun a little bit. But what about you? Well, from what you see, and I know you guys have played D1, but what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like the fans, like the numbers aren't the same and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's the same game. You just got to go out there and enjoy it, have a good time. And even though it's D2, still great competition between one another, and there's always great games to watch. So it's always exciting.
We've enjoyed this new facility this year. You guys have been here. You know what it was before this building.
Right.
What does it mean to you having a facility that, and I tell people, listen, I'm very sincere about it. We finally have a facility that matches up with the caliber of people we have playing for us and the caliber of coaches we have. Well, personally, for Earl Adams, what does this mean to you?
It means a lot. I mean, I just believe it's a blessing just to have this building, this campus. and for the players and the rest of the people in the building, because it just makes it feel better here, just to be around in the building and stuff.
What about you?
Like he said, you know, when you come up to like a meeting, it seems like everything's just more put together, and like you're not trying to find a time. It's just whenever you want, you come like meet and stuff. You know, the locker room is just like so much space in there, and everything is just awesome. Just like be able to walk around and joke around with everybody, you know. And on game day, that's what I really like, because I remember we used to go to the church, we'd go to the auditorium, and be doing like walkthroughs and stuff. And when me and my buddies were like laughing about it, talking about how we used to do that, and like the freshmen coming in, they could never imagine something like that, because now we come down here, you know, you do a little walkthrough on the field, then you come back in, and you have your meetings in your actual like meeting room, so that's kind of nice.
So it makes, you know, it's one of those things that should make a difference for this program long term. You both thought you see that being the case? Because I know it's, you look at other folks in the league that we've been playing catch up. We're not playing catch up anymore.
That's right.
This is pretty sweet. Looking ahead, you are you a junior?
Yes, sir.
You're a senior. Okay, so looking ahead, when you leave Mars Hill, what do you want to take from here? Well, what's going to be some of those things that are deep down in here that you will take from this, you know, place that, you know, we all call it the Hill, but the Hill is, in my opinion, special because of the people. But what are those things that you'll kind of really have down deep inside that will be your memories of this place? And I know you still got another year to make memories, so yeah. We're not going to compare this tape to next year's tape. We might keep it for later on, you know.
Just knowing that I had a really good time here, and I made a lot of friends and a lot of family, and that this will always be a home for me whenever I leave, and I'm always come back just to enjoy it and have memories.
And if you can't make it back, you're gonna sit Dad with the barbecue, right? That's the plan. Okay. What about you?
Definitely some life lessons I've learned. Just being here, I've definitely grown as a person over the last 4 years, and I feel like just definitely a lot of things that the coaches and some of my professors here and the people that I've met, definitely just I'm going to take a lot of that with me and just be able to grow.
When you wrap things up here, finish up with your degree, walk across that stage, this chapter will this portion of the book chapter will close. What's the next chapter? You know, what are your initial plans once you leave Mars Hill University?
Well, I'm wanting to do something in medical sales.
Okay.
But before I do that, I would like to at least, I feel like my numbers are pretty decent, to like maybe do like a pro day or like a regional combine type of deal, and just give it a shot and just say at least I tried, you know, and just see maybe if I catch somebody's eye doing that.
Because that's one of those that you don't want to look back in 5 years and go,
right,
man, I should have. Because I will tell you from experience, the older you get, you don't get any faster. Of course, for some of us, we were never fast to begin with, so I have to just look at statistics to understand that.
Right.
But I think that's great. That is good. What about you? You've got another year, but then once you wrap things up here, what does Earl Adams plan ahead that this is going to be your next chapter?
Oh yeah, same. I'm trying to attempt to play football as long as I can, and once that's done, I want to just stay in football, and I want to become a coach and just show other kids what I learned and how I love the game and just enjoy it.
Pass it along. All right. Well, we've had a great time with you guys. I wish you a good conclusion to your season wearing the blue and the gold, and both of you guys stay healthy. We'll have you for one more year after this, so that'll be good. So God bless. Good luck. Thank you for being part of the Mars Hill family. We'll be back after this.
Mars Hill University, helping you move your mountain.
Mars Hill University gives me plenty of degrees to choose from.
At MHU, I get the attention I deserve.
MHU keeps me close to home
and there's tons to do in the mountains.
Over 60 courses of study, small class settings, a breathtaking campus. These are just a few examples of how MHU can help you start moving your mountain. Visit us today at mhu.edu. Mars Hill University, education that moves mountains.
Craig Rucker, wide receiver. You're watching Live Sports Network.
Hi everybody, welcome back for our closing feature on this week's Coaches Show. A quick rundown of standings in the South Atlantic Conference. Lenore Ride still top of the league, 5-0. Wingate 4-0. If I remember correctly, both those teams are in the top 15 in the country, I think. We're coming in at 3-1 in the league. 3-2 Newberry, 2-2 Carson Newman, who took it on the chin down at Lenore Ride. Tusculum 2-3, Limestone 1-3. Catawba 0-4, UVAY 0-5, though they played a tough one over the weekend. They really did. But let's talk about it. We've got Catawba. We were talking off camera. For whatever reason, traditionally and historically, year in and year out, decade in, decade out, we don't do well at Catawba.
Yeah, it's been a struggle. They hadn't done well here, so it's always been a struggle.
It's like an extreme.
Yeah, and we went a few years there. We went 3 in a row there, I think, and
then they remembered that.
Yeah,
because it got tough.
Yeah, and then here we played one time on a Sunday here, if you remember.
Yes, sir.
In the snow, so they've always been really good games. I mean, going all the way back to the first year we were here, it was a phenomenal game over there. It was our second game ever, and it was a great game over there. So every year it's a battle with these two teams, and but every week now is a battle for us. Every week we're playing close games, and we're playing having to play in the fourth quarter. I don't see this one any different. I think we'll have to play for 4 quarters, and all you got to do is turn the film on and watch them play Wingate, which was a really, really tight game, and they had their chances to win against Wingate. I thought they played unbelievable. So, every year for us, it's always a battle with us in Catawba.
But in looking at how we match up, I think it is setting up for a high-scoring affair. It really is.
Yeah, it could.
Kind of almost a repeat of what we had Saturday here.
It could be. I mean, this day and time, the way things are and the way people scheme things, it seems to have been that way. The only one really this year was Newberry. Was not a high scoring, but they're not always built that way, and they're really their deal is to play defense and control the football. So there's going to be some low scoring games there, and what you'd really like to do is you always try to keep your game manageable. Where you get into trouble is when you have to start to really chase. You just want to be in that fourth quarter where that thing is manageable and you can take care of business. Or on our end, you'd like to really have a blowout one week. But that's hard to do this day and time. It is really hard to do. And they're really good in what they do, running the football. And then Curtis Walker has always been really, really good on defense. Catawba's always their cup of tea has always been being real good on defense and controlling the ball on offense, and that hadn't changed. No. They're going to try to control the football, and they're going to play really, really, really good on defense. And but that's his trademark, and that's what they do, and they're good at it.
Play the Indians on the road at Catawba, at Salisbury, then we come back against the Eagles of Carson. We have one more road trip after that over to Tusculum, and then we come back against Wingate. So Mountain Lions still have, the season could play out quite interesting in the league, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could. You know, I think what we've had to do is try and do what you ought to do is stay on that one game, stay on that week, and we're it's obvious we're trying to stay on that week because every game's been close. I mean, we've just been in the hunt every week, and what we're trying to do is just play as good as we can possibly play on that Saturday, and no matter who we play as hard as we can play, as good as we can play, and you know, I think we're playing hard. We got to continue to play hard, and then we got to cut back on turnovers. And if we can cut our turnovers back and not give up big plays and continue to play hard, I think we'll continue to like the results.
Well, in season 27, I've been with you through the whole run. I think this particular group of players, for multiple reasons, has maintained a more, at least seemingly from outside looking in, and sometimes from the inside looking at her, has seemingly had a more consistent focus from game to game. There have been times over the years, like, well, we wavered here, we got thinking about that game coming up there, but I've not seen that this year. It's like they said, game by game mentality. They really seem to be zeroed in, focused in, which credit to you and your coaching staff, and also to your senior leadership. I think back about some of the meetings you guys had with some of your senior players about these. We're going to change the culture. Yeah. We're going to start doing this for focus, and it's very visible.
Yeah, I think this group has is a closer group than we've had in the last couple of years. And I think this group has taken on an identity, but I think the leadership group that we formed has done a good job, and it's been formed with seniors all the way down to freshmen. And so you get them in and you get an opportunity to talk with them, and you get an opportunity to visit with them. But I think this group is a tight-knit group. They could have folded the tent several times this year, and they just kept fighting back. And just like Saturday when that thing flipped on us, you know, I think we could have very easily have let that thing get away, but we didn't. We just kept finding ways to score, and then we found ways to stop them, you know. And I just think this group is a little tighter, and I think what we really need to do, and I talked to them about it yesterday, is play 60 minutes. Just in one game, play 60 full minutes, you know. There are times that we are really, really good, and then there's times we lose a little bit of focus, and then we have to turn around and come right back. And what you want to do is get off to a fast start and continue to play fast all the way through the game, and cut back, you know, on turnovers. I thought we did a great job on Saturday. We had 4 penalties, and your goal every week is 4 or less. Now everybody said you like to have none, but that's a little hard to do because you're going to have a holding call here or there, and you're going to have a guy false start here or there. But to cut it to 4 or less, that's your goal every week. And I think we did that last week. Now we got to continue doing it this week, and then cut the turnovers out, and you know, and if we can do that, I think we'll be fine. Still a long ways to go.
It is.
This thing is not even close to being over, and it's still.
It's the South Atlantic Conference. Anything's possible.
Every week is just it's just unbelievable. It's like pulling teeth. And it's just tough you just got to hang in there and continue to, and you got to say, this is the only game. You know, this is the only game.
This is what we can control right
That's
now.
right. This is the only game, and you know, some of the players sometimes get, you know, you drive them a little crazy because they'll ask about, what do you think about that game that happened last night, or this game, or the pro game, or what? I really don't care. I mean, I really don't. I don't. The only thing that I care about is Marshall University's young men and playing on Saturday and doing the very best we can do as people and as young people, and doing the best they can do in the classroom, doing the best they can do off the field, and then playing as hard as they can play. And that's really what you're trying to do. And you know, we've got a hard task ahead of us this week, and we've got to get them focused in and get them ready to play. And it started on Sunday now. Today was off day, and it starts for the coaches. They're still in the office tonight. I'll be in the office most of the nights. It starts really for our players at 3 o'clock tomorrow. You know, they need to work about their academics up until 3 o'clock, and 3 o'clock to us is to me and to our players and our coaches. It's our time. It's fun time. It's what we want to do. And so at 3 o'clock, I try to get them to forget everything that's outside of this, and just concentrate and focus and have fun on what you love doing, and that's playing football.
Well, and one of the things that was very evident out here Saturday afternoon, you know, not only the caliber of young people you have, the caliber of coaches that you have on your coaching staff, but you add in all of that, they were having fun.
Yeah, they were.
And that showed.
Yeah,
that showed.
They had fun, and you know, it was fun. The way they acted after the game, and the excitement they had in the fourth quarter, and the excitement they had at the end of the game. That's what you're looking for, and you're looking for them to every week have fun and enjoy what they're doing.
Always a puzzle.
Yeah, it is.
Always a puzzle.
Not easy.
Saturday afternoon, the Mountain Lions are traveling down the mountain. They'll take on the Indians of Catawba. Schedule 1:30 kickoff down in Salisbury. For those of us that are in that area, we have a lot of Lion family down there. Come on up. It's not a bad drive from Charlotte. Look forward to seeing you pack it in that stand. We should be able to have a good number of folks on hand. You're going to see a great ball game as your Mountain Lions take on the Indians of Catawba. And Tim Clifton and I'll be back and talk about it next week. Until then, so long for now.
Hey, MHU on 3, 1, 2, 3.
MHU.